Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up, looked at your life, and thought, how did I get here? Not in a dramatic way, just that quiet, unsettling feeling that time is passing and you're still in the same place. Same habits, same frustrations, same version of yourself. I've been there. And the worst part? I kept trying to fix it all at once. New diet, new routine, new mindset, all on a Monday. And by Thursday, gone. But then I stumbled on something that actually worked, and it was almost embarrassingly small. It's called the 1% rule. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how it works and why it might be the only thing standing between you and a completely different life 6 months from now. Here's the thing about motivation: it feels amazing for about 2 days. You get inspired, you go all in, you overhaul everything, and then life happens. You miss one day, then two, and then the shame kicks in, and before you know it, you've quit entirely. Sound familiar? This is called the all or nothing trap, and almost everyone falls into it. Because we've been taught that transformation is supposed to look dramatic. Big effort, big results, fast. But that's not how real change works. Think about it this way: a plane flying from New York to London. If it shifts course by just 1 degree at takeoff, it doesn't land in London. It lands somewhere completely different, hundreds of miles off. That's 1 degree, almost invisible. But over enough distance, enormous difference. Your life works the same way. So what is the 1% rule exactly? It's simple. Get 1% better at something every single day. Not 10%, not 50%, just 1%. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's nothing. That won't move the needle. And that's exactly why most people ignore it. Because 1% feels invisible. It feels almost embarrassingly small. But here's the math that changes everything. If you get 1% better every day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. You end up 37 times better. That's not a typo. 37 times. That's the power of compounding. The same principle that makes investments grow exponentially over time. Applied directly to you. And here's what makes it even more real. Day 1, you barely feel it. Day 30, still subtle. But somewhere around month 3 or 4, you look up and think, wait, when did this get easier? That's compound growth showing up in your actual life. And flip it the other way. Get 1% worse every day, you decline to nearly zero by year's end. Same time, completely opposite outcomes. The only difference is the direction of your tiny daily choices. James Clear breaks this down in Atomic Habits. And it genuinely hit me like a truck the first time I understood it at a gut level. We don't fail because we lack willpower. We fail because we underestimate how powerful small, consistent things are over time. Here's the part nobody talks about enough. The reason the 1% rule is so powerful isn't just the math, it's the feeling behind it. When you try to transform your life overnight, your brain panics. Genuinely. It reads massive change as a threat, so it resists. It self-sabotages. It makes you exhausted by day 3. But 1%, your brain barely notices. There's no alarm, no resistance, no burnout. You're not trying to become a completely different person today. You're just being slightly better than you were yesterday. And here's what happens over time. Those small wins start building something you can't buy and can't fake. Confidence. Real confidence. Not the hype you pump yourself up with on a Sunday night. The quiet, steady kind that comes from actually showing up day after day. You start trusting yourself again, and that changes everything. Let me make this practical, because this isn't just theory. Say you want to get healthier. Instead of overhauling your entire diet and joining a gym and sleeping 8 hours and meditating all in 1 week, you just do this. Drink one extra glass of water today. That's it. Tomorrow, maybe you take the stairs instead of the elevator. The day after, you go to bed 15 minutes earlier. None of these feel like a big deal. But 3 months in, you're a different person physically. Not because of one massive effort, because of dozens of tiny ones that stacked. What about mental health? Same thing. If anxiety or self-doubt is weighing you down, you don't fix that in a weekend retreat. But you can spend 2 minutes writing down one thing you're grateful for tonight. Just one. That's 1%. What about learning a new skill? Reading, writing, a language. 10 pages a day feels overwhelming if you haven't read in years. But 3 pages? Anyone can do 3 pages. And 3 pages a day is over 1,000 pages in a year. That's 12 to 15 books. Think about how different your thinking is after 15 books. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is just a little more than yesterday. Okay, so how do you actually apply this? Here's how I'd break it down. Step 1, pick one area, not 5, not 3, 1. The area of your life that, if it improved, everything else would feel lighter. For some people, that's health. For others, it's focus, relationships, or finances. Pick the one. Step 2, find your 1%. Ask yourself, what is the smallest possible action I can take in this area today? Not impressive, not Instagram worthy, just real. If your goal is to exercise more, your 1% today might be putting on your workout shoes. That's it. Just put them on. Step 3, protect the streak. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. If you miss a day, that's okay. The rule is never miss twice. 1 day off is a break. 2 days off is the start of a new habit, and not the one you want. Step 4, track it, even loosely. You don't need an app or a system. A simple check mark on a calendar works, because seeing that streak grow, that becomes its own motivation. It creates a feedback loop that pulls you forward, even on the hard days. Let me bring it all together. You don't need a dramatic life overhaul. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. and cold plunge and journal and meditate all before breakfast. That version of self-improvement burns people out. I've seen it. I've lived it. What you need is something so small, it almost feels silly. 1%. Daily. Consistently. The person you want to be in 6 months isn't waiting for you to have more time, more money, more motivation, or a better Monday. They're waiting for you to take one small step today, and then one more tomorrow. That's it. That's the whole thing. Because here's the truth about transformation. It never looks like a lightning bolt. It looks like a Tuesday, where you did the thing anyway, even though you didn't feel like it. And then a Wednesday. And then a Thursday. And 6 months from now, you look back and you won't even recognize where you started. So here's what I want you to do tonight, just tonight. Pick the one area of your life you most want to change and find your 1%, the tiniest, most doable action you can take before you go to sleep. Not tomorrow, tonight. That's how it starts. Not with a bang, with one quiet step in the right direction. If this hits home for you, share it with someone who needs it right now. And if you want more real, no fluff content on building a life you're actually proud of, you know where to find me. Let's keep improving together.